welcome to today's video. And in today's video, I'll be doing a 2024 election prediction between Andrew Yang and Nikki Haley. By the way, I have my current poll, or the poll for my election night that I'm gonna be doing. It's out. I'm probably gonna be closing it tomorrow or Sunday. So be sure to vote. I'll try to post the link in the comment section, soon. So please try to vote in that. Because I'm probably going to be working on this election night for the next week or two. And the deadline's coming up. I say it like I actually have a deadline set. No. I'm going to be closing it soon, so I can have the finalized results. I can generally tell what it's gonna look like, but, please go and vote if you haven't already. So I'm going to start by labeling all of Yang states, Washington, Oregon, California, Colorado. Colorado is going to be safe. Haley is not going to get nearly enough rural turnout. And I think that Yang overall it depends on the state, but generally speaking, he's a stronger candidate for rural voters than most Democrats. Haley's going to carry Montana safe. Nebraska's first. It's weird, but I'm not going to give it to her safe. Montana's a more moderate state, and Haley probably has more moderate appeal. For Yang's likely states, I'm going to give him New Mexico, Virginia, Maine at large, Nebraska's second. Nebraska's second's a close call. I'll leave that unlabeled. Minnesota and Michigan. So in New Mexico, he's going to probably do. Haley might do well at the Hispanic and Latino vote. I think that overall she's probably a slightly better candidate for the minority vote overall than Trump was. But I see Yang doing significantly better with oil workers. In Virginia, Haley, a lot of people make the argument that Haley was a strong suburban candidate. I've debunked it in other videos. I think that she would probably be one of the GOP's better nominees for the suburbs. Probably the best other than, Mitt Romney. Of potential nominees, someone who could actually get the nomination. She's probably their best hope in the suburbs. Because, if I don't have a poll pulled up, but if we look at her 2014 numbers, 2014, which is a red wave, mind you, she underperformed 2016 Trump performance in the suburbs. So 2016 Trump overperformed red wave Nikki Haley in the suburbs. Trump, we all know, is a pretty bad suburban candidate. And then after 6 years of shifting, we already know the suburbs are going to shift to the left. Trump really shifted them very hard to the left. She only overperformed him in a red wave. In a red wave, she overperformed Trump by 5%, as opposed to Trump in the suburbs 6 years later in a more liberal suburban environment. She only overperformed him by 5% when she was in a red wave. I don't think that she's exactly amazing. I think that she has more appeal, but I don't think it's necessarily a whole lot. So I don't necessarily know that she'd do amazing in these DC suburbs. Plus, they're already super blue. But she's going to do horrendously with the rural vote. She's going to get hardly any rural turnout. In Minnesota, it was likely in 2020, Yang has more appeal to the working class. Haley, like I said, is probably going to do slightly better, or is probably a better candidate in the suburbs. Or a better candidate than Trump, but I don't necessarily know there will be enough. One election that I think this would look a lot like was 2012, when it was likely. We saw Obama do very, very well up here in the Iron Range. We're gonna I don't have a 2020 map pulled up. I'm actually gonna go get that real quick. Okay, while we wait for this map to load, here we are. Why is that there? Okay, that's funny. But look at this. Anoka County, Trump narrowly won at 1.9%, as opposed to Romney carrying it by 2.6%. So it has shifted slightly to the left. Not exactly a whole lot, but we have seen. I was expecting a larger shift, which is why I looked at that. But overall, we have seen the shift to the left, and as we all know, Romney was a very, very good suburban candidate. I'm just looking at some of these random counties. I think at Minneapolis, honestly, is still probably as blue as it was. I was gonna expect for it to be bluer. Apparently it wasn't though, so that's interesting. But even if it was as blue as it was, with Yang's increased support with the working class, Haley's gonna do horrendously with the working class. So I do think it'll still be likely. In Michigan, if we go look at 2012. Obama. By the way, Yang. There's not going to be a Democrat as strong as Obama. In 2024, I can't. It's not going to happen. It's highly unlikely. But Yang is going to have some fairly decent appeal in Detroit. I mean, like, we can go look at Obama carried it by 47%. Biden, let me go over here. Biden, who only carried it by 38%. So he did underperform Obama. So, but he was still able to carry the state by 2.8%. Especially considering that Trump did pretty well with the working class. I do think that Yang will probably be able to do better with the working class and probably do slightly better in Detroit, which would help him. But I do see him doing better across the board with the working class. And I see Haley getting a lot less rural turnout and doing really, really poorly with the working class. Maine, pretty inelastic. Haley might do decent there. She probably has a little bit more support or appeal to white rural college educated voters. I think that Yang also has a lot, like I said, a lot of appeal to the white rural vote in general. So it could be I think that'll probably still be likely. For Haley's likely states: Kansas, Missouri, Indiana, South Carolina, Alaska, Nebraska's first, and that is it. So Kansas, it was likely in 2020 Haley might do slightly better than Trump would in Kansas City suburbs, but she's going to do really poorly with the rural vote. She's going to get hardly any of it, or hardly any rural turnout, and we're likely going to see Yang probably do slightly better. Missouri, we're going to see Yang probably do pretty decent with rural farmers. We're going to see Haley get significantly less turnout. Indiana, we're going to see Yang do much better with the working class. South Carolina, this is Haley's home state. I mean, like, it was likely in 2020 we're going to see black voters we're likely going to see black voters get a larger share of the electorate. So it'll probably be likely. I feel like that's not any, like, obviously it's not insane. I feel like it's probably going to be likely because Haley's also going to probably get less white rural turnout. In Alaska, Haley's going to do really poorly with oil workers. And she's probably going to do worse with Native American voters, which are beginning to turn out at higher rates. For Yang's lean states, I'm going to give him Nevada, Nebraska second, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Maine second, Iowa, Ohio. I know that's surprising. I'll explain in a minute. And that is it. Now, I know that Iowa and Ohio are very surprising. I'm going to get to that in a minute. They could honestly both be tilt. But once again, I'm going to get to that in a minute. For Nevada, I mean, like, looking at 2020, Trump lost it by 2.4%. He's going to do worse with the white rural vote than Trump. We're likely going to see Yang do pretty decent with the Hispanic and Latino vote. I'm going to do Iowa and Ohio last. Wisconsin, Haley's going to do significantly worse with the working class. I honestly was considering putting it in the likely column, or I was thinking about it. I ultimately decided not to, given Obama's small margin of victory there, because this working class in this 3rd district, they loved Trump. If you go look at the different results in the working class, I mean, like, you can go look at the difference between Ron Kind in the district and Tammy Baldwin and even Russ Feingold in the district, this 3rd congressional district area. And you can see that they did significantly better than Biden did. They did much, much better in the district. It's a very working class district. Trump has lots and lots of support there. Yang is a really good candidate for the working class. Biden was probably above average, slightly above average for a Democrat. Yang might be their best candidate for the working class, other than, like, Tammy Baldwin or Sherrod Brown. Haley, maybe the GOP's worst. Mitt Romney's probably their worst, but then it's probably Nikki Haley. She is really, really bad for the working class. I don't see her getting enough working class support. I see Yang doing better in that 2nd district, probably winning, or that 3rd district, probably winning by like 3 or 4%. Pennsylvania, I mean, like, Yang, once again, it's going to be similar, or it's probably going to be similar to 2012. Yang is going to do much better with the working class. He's probably going to do pretty well around Philly. Once again, Haley's probably a better candidate for the Philly suburbs than most, or for suburbs in general than most Republicans, but he's going to do much better in Pittsburgh, and he's going to get enough working class support. Maine second, I mean, like, generally, I generally say that this is too red to go blue anymore, but I think that with Haley and Yang, honestly, it could go to Haley, but it seems to be a county mech. It liked Trump. Trump won it by 7.4%, and then 10.3%, which is obviously a lot. It was a flip. 8.6 to 10.3% to Trump, which is a very large flip. I just wanted to go see that margin there. Well, before this, it hadn't really gone red since 1988, which is, basically the entire country went red. Somehow Iowa went blue, which is weird. Obviously, but looking at the rest of or West Virginia, obviously was a pretty liberal area at the time. New York, Washington, Oregon, California was red. When it went red last, so I do think that it's gonna be a very conservative area. But before Trump, it seemed to like to vote for Democrats, and with someone like Haley on the ballot against someone like Yang, it's probably gonna there's gonna be a pretty decent chance it's D+2. New Hampshire is probably D+4 or 5. We're gonna see both probably be pretty decent candidates with the white rural college educated vote. So I could easily see it being likely. It would not be very surprising if it was likely. I'm just gonna say lean. In Ohio, actually, I'm gonna go do Nebraska second. Yang is once again Haley's probably slightly better for the suburbs, which is why it'll be. Since I'm giving it could honestly be likely, lean or likely. Iowa and Ohio is where it gets weird. Let's go look at 2012. In Iowa, Obama carried the state by 5.5%, or 5.6%. He did very, very well in this general area. If we can go look at, it's weird because this is a pretty liberal area. We can go to the county map. As you can see, this kind of area with a lot of this working class in western Wisconsin. As you can see in Iowa, I think that Yang is going to have more appeal to Obama to Trump voters. I don't see Haley getting enough appeal. I don't see her getting enough rural turnout. In Ohio, a very, very similar thing. Ohio, I think, could be tilt. Obama won it by a likely margin. Over here in Ohio, he only won it by 1.9%, so it could honestly be tilt. The suburbs are going to continue to shift it to the left. Romney is a really good suburban candidate. We're going to see Yang do very, very well with the working class. He's gonna be very, very strong with the working class. Even though Haley may be stronger in the suburbs, it likely won't be enough. It'll probably the suburbs are going to continue to shift. And like I said, Haley, I don't necessarily know that she's amazing in the suburbs. So I'm going to give it to Yang lean. Probably 1.5% for each, maybe just 1%. For Haley's lean states, I'm going to go give her Texas. And that is it. So in the state of Texas, she's going to do really poorly with, she's not going to get enough white rural turnout, but I don't necessarily see her doing poorly. I don't necessarily see Yang doing very well with them. She's probably going to do slightly, probably decent in the suburbs. But I think that Yang's probably going to do slightly better, or better, obviously, with the Hispanic and Latino vote. And probably going to be better in the Rio Grande Valley, which is why it's going to probably be an R+2 or R+3 state. For Yang's tilt states, North Carolina and Georgia, while Haley will get Arizona and Florida. So, let's just go state by state. In Arizona, Haley is going to get much, much more support in these traditionally conservative Arizona suburbs. Yang is going to do, Haley is going to be much more, she's going to have a lot more, she's going to be a lot stronger in these suburbs. I just don't see her doing poorly enough, especially against someone like Yang, to be able to lose the state. We're likely going to see Yang do better, or slightly better, if not better, with the Hispanic and Latino vote, which will help him, but it's still probably going to be tilt red. Florida, it's a pretty moderate state, and I don't see Yang necessarily getting all the Hispanic and Latino support that he's going to need. We could see it be tilt to Yang, but I'm just going to give it to Haley. And then in Georgia, it's close between being tilt and lean. I don't necessarily see Yang doing phenomenally in Atlanta. But I see him. I also don't necessarily know that he's amazing with the rural vote. But Haley's not going to get enough of the rural vote to be able to, or not being able to get enough of the rural vote to turn out, which won't be obviously great for her. In North Carolina, Yang, Haley's not going to get enough rural turnout. We're going to see Yang probably do decent in Charlotte. Obviously, Atlanta suburbs are going to continue to shift the state to the left, which is another reason it could be lean. Charlotte and its suburbs are probably going to continue to shift it to the left. North Carolina, that is. But we're going to see Yang get more support from the working class in the West. So I'm going to give it to Yang narrowly. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like below. Don't forget, please go vote in this. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And stay tuned for my next video tomorrow, guys. Bye.